Okay, hello everyone. How are you doing this evening? Welcome to Genoa, Italy, the beautiful port city in the northern part of Italy. Today I'm flying this beautiful Zibo 737-800 out of Genoa airport. And we are flying to Florence airport. Flight time should be about 50 minutes. I've already created a flight plan using SimBrief and filed the flight plan to VATSIM. And today on the stream, like I did on my previous stream, I'm doing cold start video with the brand with everything cold start, and I will go through. I download the X checklist plugin, and also another plugin which would be nice that shows the warning when we are on the runway, so we'll see it through the flight. And so usually what I do when I do the checklist for the cold and start, I usually have my printed checklist which I download from the internet, the Boeing 737 NGX, and you have for explain these digital checklist which you can do, and I will show you today, and I will try it actually for the first time. I just tested it but didn't actually try it fully, so I'll test it for the first time, and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I can say that from my previous flights, the Zibo 37 is really amazing. There is many features and it's very good. So as I keep along, I hope you will enjoy this and learn a few of the things, and I will try to share with you the things that I've learned. One of the things that I've learned recently, and I must say that if you are connecting via the XWalk box in X-Plane, well, definitely maybe consider moving to Xpilot. I'm using it in my last few flights, and it is much better. It's nice that you have, of course, it's external to your application. It's not inside X-Plane, although you do have the plugin, as you can see here, the Xbox, the Xpilot. So you can see, for example, who is online, etc., and there are other things. But it doesn't just give you all these annoying messages that pop up all the time. And recently, I don't know why, I guess it's because the Xbox plugin change or something on the network, maybe, I got these annoying messages that my FPS was not as good, and I got disconnected many times, and it was really annoying. And the Xpilot client really ran smoothly, very smoothly for my last flights. So I really enjoyed it. The UI itself, the user interface, is pretty nice. You have all your nearby controllers grouped into center, approach, departure, tower, ground, etc. So it's easy to find your ATC. And generally it's I like it much better. So if you're using XWalk box, definitely consider moving to using Xpilot. I started streaming now for about just 3 weeks since the coronavirus started spreading, and I had a little bit more time at home, and I'm doing it just for fun. I've been flying Flight Simulator for a few years. I've used the Flight Simulator X for for many years, but then when I just started with X-Plane, I really was amazed by the high quality of the default airplanes, and the graphics and all the realistics was very, very good. So I really enjoy it. If you into aviation, definitely consider this flight simulator. They have regular updates and it's really good. I really enjoy it. So I will start with this checklist. Again, it's the first time that I'm trying it, so I hope that everything will be good. Okay, let's just first say I downloaded it. Okay, you have to download the X checklist plugin, and then separately you have to have a specific X checklist file that is related to your aircraft. So it's a specific file that you can download separately. Also, just search online for Zibo 737 800 X checklist, and then you will just get to the download page where you can download the checklist. You will have to put this file into the folder of the Zibo aircraft, and then you just automatically have this, and it looks very nice, I must say. I will try it now for the first time, so hopefully it will do okay. It should be interactive, meaning that it checks actually the status of your aircraft and updates the checklist accordingly. And as you can see, when you go to checklist, I will see all the checklists that are currently are installed here for the Zibo, and I can just select each of them. Of course, we start with just from top to bottom, and it automatically, of course, you will continue as the flight progresses. So okay, let's start. So I start by
flight plan route file.
Flight planning. There is an audio voice if you want to hear. It's a computerized voice, but it can read the instructions, the checklist. I find it nice for now. It's not yet that annoying yet, but you can disable it as I saw if you want. Okay, so let's get over the checklist. The first thing, flight plan route downloaded. I actually will enter the route manually, but I did submit it to VATSIM network, so I check this checkbox here.
Downloaded.
Okay.
Fuel, time, and load.
Okay, fuel time and load. I'll calculate it via the SimBrave flight
calculated.
The
thrust limit
is
calculated. Departure weather.
Departure weather.
Check and note. Arrival weather.
Arrival weather.
Check and note.
Also checked. Let's move
Chalk.
to the next. Okay, so chalk. I think it's the bottom here. Anyway, it's checked. So
check.
I check it.
Parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
As required. Landing gear lever. Down.
Okay, so landing
speed
lever
brake
down.
Lever. Down.
Speed brake lever.
Flap
this
lever.
One is down.
Up.
The flaps.
Manual
are up.
gear extension access door. Closed.
Okay.
Battery.
Okay, so you can see this is nice now. What you watch that it automatically checked all the things like the landing gear lever, the speed brake, and the flaps that are up. I didn't do anything. It automatically noticed that this is the current status of the aircraft, and it automatically checked it, so it's very nice. Okay, so now we start with startup. We have a cold start, like I said. So I will go over the things. I also have here my usual checklist just for reference, and I will go over it also just to see that everything is okay. I guess it will be okay, but just for a reference. So the first thing we do is start the battery. So battery on and guarded.
On and guarded.
You see that
standby power switch.
You can see that
auto and guarded.
Great.
Generators drive disconnect switches. Guarded. Bus transfer switch. Auto and guarded. Ground power.
Okay, so ground power is not on yet, so we can connect it. Let's see if it moves here. Yes. Okay. So ground power we can connect via the ground services GPU connect. So now we should have ground power. Let's see. So we have now ground power.
On.
Okay, so we have
IRS mode selectors.
Okay, the IRS nav mode selectors should be on nav. Both.
NAV.
Okay.
ELT switch. Off and guarded. Service interphone switch. Off. EC switches. On and guarded.
Switches.
Passenger oxygen switch. Normal and guarded. Landing gear indicator lights. Illuminated.
Okay, great.
Mach airspeed warning test 1.
So mark airspeed test warn. Okay, this is the things that I don't usually do, but let's do them. So number 1.
Push. Mach airspeed warning test 2. Push. Stall warning test 1.
Okay, we
push.
These are the warnings.
Stall warning test 2. Push.
Okay, great.
Verify model and engine rating is correct.
Verify model and engine rating is correct. Let's check this.
Check. Verify nav data cycle is current.
Okay, nav data cycle is in the FMC. Let's see just how long it's going to take us to Okay. So, the IRS probably is not yet aligned, but we verify that our nav data cycle is current. It's current. Okay.
Check. Verify time is correct.
Verify time is correct. Current time. Actually, I'm not doing the. It's not in real time right now, so I'll just check this.
Check. Enter reference airport and IRS position.
Okay, so let's go to the pause init page. Okay, so we can see here the time. Okay, so our reference airport is Genoa Airport, which is okay, which is Lima. Sorry, Lima India Mike Juliet. Okay, we are at gate 310. 301, excuse me. Okay, for the IRS position, we can go to the next page and just copy one of the GPSs and go here and set this. So now we have our GPS position. So our reference airport and IRS position are set.
Verify measurement units. Pounds or kilos.
Okay, so now let's go to the fuel.
Check.
Let's go
load
to the
fuel and payload.
So fuel. Our fuel for this flight, the block fuel for this flight is 5.4 1,000 kilograms. The zero fuel weight is already set, and the payload, the automatic payload, is already set. Just see. Want to see if there are passengers here. Everybody's okay. They're still here. Okay. So we have the fuel and payload set.
Check. Enter route origin and destination.
Okay, so now we go to the route page. So on the route page we have our origin, which is Genoa Airport. Our destination is Florence, Italy, which is Lima, India, Romeo, Quebec. And our flight number is Alitalia 247. So enter it here. The runway currently we're departing, let me see, we don't have any ATC, so according to the sim brief, we'll depart runway 28. So we enter the route origin and destination.
Set. Enter flight number.
Is set.
Set.
Okay.
Enter, activate, and execute route.
Enter, activate, and execute route. So, okay, so now we are going to the route. So, our route here is actually, let me just look at it again with the sim brief page. Our route here should be pretty simple. We're going direct to Calmo. So, Calmo direct. Calmo direct, and we are going direct to Baroque. So direct Baroque. Direct Baroque, and then we'll have our standard arrival. So we activating and executing the route. Great.
Set and active. Set departure runway and procedure.
Okay, so set departure runway and procedure. So we're going to the departure. The departure runway is already set. It's set to 28. Currently, we don't have any of the seats that I saw, at least from the platform. Let me just set that the legs are okay. I guess that I can leave it like this. Let's just see if the flight plan is continuous. Let me just go over it and see if, well, it looks fine, I think. So let's just leave it. The sim brief didn't see any start. The departure page. Okay, so now we're going to the departure page, and we'll have our. Okay, so departure and procedure.
Set and active. Verify route and clear discontinuities.
Okay, so now you're going to the legs and verify that there are no discontinuities. We don't have any discontinuities.
Check.
Okay.
Set gross weight and cruise CG.
So, okay, we go to the pref init page. So, let's go to the performance initialization page. The zero fuel weight is set, and the gross weight is set. A reserve is just something that I usually leave as 1, as the cost index is also, I usually put it as 10. The cruise wind is 1296, excuse me, at 029 knots. And our flight level is 170. So 170 here. Great, we can execute this. And so we set the gross weight and cruise CG.
Set. Enter fuel reserves.
Fuel reserves is set.
Set. Enter cost index.
Cost index is set.
Set. Enter cruise altitude.
Cruise altitude set.
Set. Enter cruise wind.
Cruise wind is set.
Set. Enter ISA deviation or top of climb OAT.
For top of climb, let's see. The deviation is, let's see, I think I have it on the flight plan. So the temperature deviation for the top of climb, let's check it. For the top of climb, it's plus 28. So I think it should be here 28. So plus 28. Okay. Okay. So we have the
Check.
ISA deviation.
Enter transition altitude.
Transition altitude will leave as is.
Check.
For now.
Verify that the fuel is sufficient for flight.
So we have, you can see here the fuel currently, what was set, it should be sufficient for us. A fuel is 5,400 kilograms. So you can see each of the fuel tanks on the left and right, each of them has 2,700, so it's okay.
Check. Check and verify speed and altitude restrictions.
Okay, speed and altitude restrictions on the legs page. We can see here the speed and the altitude restrictions. So flight level 170, which is our cruise altitude, and then here the restriction 129 and 127. So it seems to be okay.
Check. Enter OAT and select thrust required for takeoff and climb.
Okay, so enter OAT. So the OAT currently temperature of travel is 19 degrees, so slash 19 degrees. Enter it here. The N1 limits are set, and we can go to the takeoff page. Set flaps 5 for takeoff, and the trim is 4.2. We can set the trim, and we can set a trim and also copy the V1, V-rotate, and V2. Okay, so we temperature outside, select thrust required, takeoff at climb is set.
Set. Enter takeoff flaps position.
Okay, so takeoff, let's see here. This is the page, so we have the flap set.
Enter the CG.
CG is entered.
Check. Verify that a trim value is shown.
The trim value is shown.
Check. Select or enter the takeoff V speeds.
So the V speeds are checked.
Select. IRS alignment is complete.
Okay.
Check.
We can see that the
yaw damper.
The IRS alarm is complete. It was automatically set. Yaw damper. So let's look at this. Yaw damper is here. Should be on.
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 Alternate flaps position switch. Off.
Okay.
VHF NAV transfer switch. Normal. IRS transfer switch. Normal. FMC transfer switch. Normal. Display source selector switch. Auto. Display control panel select switch. Normal. Crossfeed selector. Closed. Fuel pumps. Off. Engine fire test switch. Hold to fault INOP.
Okay, so engine fire check is here, I think. Let's see. Fault. This one is.
Check. Engine fire test switch. Hold to overheat fire. Check. Reset fire and master caution alerts.
Okay, reset fire and master caution alerts. These are the master caution
Reset.
and fire.
Extinguisher test switch position 1.
Extinguisher test position 1. This one maybe.
Position 1 check.
Position
Extinguisher test switch position 2. Position 2 check.
2. Okay.
Cabin utility power switch. On. IFA passenger seat power switch. On. APU start, hold switch for 3 seconds.
Okay, so APU starting. We're starting now the APU. Let's go to the overhead panel and we're going to start hold it for 3 seconds. And now the EPU generated gadget here should start to go up. Okay, and after a few seconds you can also see when the APU generators, this blue light should turn on, and then it says that the APU generators could be turned on. Now the APU is the auxiliary power unit. It's actually
APU running. APU generators.
It's just a backup power that you have on the airplane in case the engine's failing. So usually during flight the power comes from the engines, and when the engines fail, which can of course occur when there is some kind of a problem with the aircraft, you can start the APU, so it's a backup power for this aircraft. So when you start the aircraft, before you're starting the engine, you also start the APU. So now we just doing the APU generator, we're starting to activate them. So we turning both of them on.
On.
Okay, so
ground power. Disconnected.
Now that we can.
Equipment cooling switches. Normal. Emergency exit light switch.
Okay, so emergency exit lights. Let's see the emergency exit lights. These are the emergency exit lights, and they should be armed and guarded.
Armed and guarded. No smoking sign.
The no smoking sign. Where are you? No smoking sign. This one, I think.
On. Or auto. Seat belt sign.
On or auto.
On.
Okay.
Or auto. Windshield wiper selectors. Park. Window heater power test.
Window heater power test. I think that this is the test. See, it's not this one. Window heat power test. Let's see. Where is it? Window heat power test. Let's try to. So I don't know if it's this one or maybe upstairs, this upper section there is. Don't see it here. Anyway, okay. Don't know. I will check it.
Check. Window heaters overheat test.
Let's maybe this one. No, still not. Okay. Where are the testers here? Maybe. No, I don't know. Okay. So I just check it for now.
Check. Window heaters on.
Window heaters are these ones, so let's turn them on.
Check.
Okay.
Probe heat switches.
Probe heat switches
Off.
off.
Wing anti-ice switch. Off. Engine anti-ice switches. Off. Engine hydraulic pumps. On. Electric hydraulic pumps. Off. Air temperature source selector.
Air temperature source selector. So air temperature source selector should be, this I think is the air temperature source selector. Let's leave it for now.
As required. Trim air switch.
Trim air switch on.
On. Temperature selectors.
Temperature selectors, these are the one I think. Yeah, it should be like this.
As required. Recirculation fan switches. Auto. Air conditioning pack switches.
Air conditioning pack switches. These should be auto.
Auto. Isolation valve switch. Open. Engine bleed switches. On. APU bleed switch.
APU bleed switch
on.
should be on.
Flight altitude indicator.
The flight altitude indicator, we're setting the cruise altitude, which is flight level 170. So this is set.
Cruise altitude. Landing altitude indicator.
Our landing altitude at Florence is, let's see in the flight plan. Okay. Actually, I can go just, it should appear I think in the flight plan, if I'm not mistaken. But that's I'm just checking the flight plan. So let me just check the altitude for our destination very fast. Just go to our destination, which is Florence Airport, and the altitude is 144, so 150. We can set 150 here. So 150 for the landing altitude. Okay. So landing altitude is set.
Destination field elevation. Pressurization selector. Auto. Landing light switches. Retract and off. Runway turn off light switches. Off. Taxi light switch. Off. Ignition select switch. Set. Engine start switches. Auto. Anti-collision light switch. Off. Wheel well light switch.
Okay, wheel well light switch, we'll set it now to on as required.
As required. Courses set.
Okay, courses set. These are these ones. I think I will set them to the runway heading. Let's just now go back to the Evitop and just put our departure airport, and this is the chart for the airport. Let's see, we have our airport chart here. I must say this is the first time that I'm using the checklist, and it's really, really cool. I mean, you also have the full checklist, which is very good, and also it's very interactive. Makes it much better than the usual, just working with paper. Okay, so this is where we're standing right now in the Genoa airport, and we will be taking off from runway 28, which is here, and the runway heading is 284. So I set it on the course 284. You see it here, it's already set, and also I can change this also to 284. So the
Check.
courses are set.
Flight directors.
So flight directors should be both on.
On. Bank angle selector.
Bank angle selector. Bank angle selector. I think this is this one. It's as required, so we'll leave it
As required.
for now.
Autopilot disengage bar. Up. Minimums reference selector.
The minimums reference selector. The minimum reference selector, where it is. The minimum reference selector, I think. Radio or barometer, this one, right? So it's barometer, it's
Radio
okay.
or barometer. Minimum selector.
Decision height or altitude rev.
Decision height or altitude rev. Flight path vector switch.
Okay, this is as required.
As required.
Meter switch.
Meters switch.
As required.
As required. Barometric reference selector.
Okay, so we are using the barometric. It's HBA, so
In or
okay.
HBA. Barometric selector.
And
QNH. Bore ADF switches. As required. Mode selector.
Is on the map here.
Map. Center switch.
Center switch.
As required.
The
Range
center
selector.
here and the range, these are the ones.
As required. Traffic switch.
The traffic switch is as required.
As required.
Weather radar.
Weather radar. Off. Master lights.
Master lights. Where this is the test, I think.
Test.
Great.
Flap inhibit switch. Guarded. Gear inhibit switch. Guarded. Terrain inhibit switch. Guarded. Landing gear lever.
Is down.
Down. Auto brake selector.
Okay, so the auto brake selector is RDO for takeoff.
RTO. And one set selector. Auto. Speed reference selector. Auto. Fuel flow switch.
Fuel flow switch. Where is the fuel flow switch? This one. This is the fuel flow switch. It should be reset and then rate. So reset.
Reset, then rate.
And then rate.
Cargo fire test switch.
The cargo fire test. Where is the cargo fire test? Maybe down here. Anyway, okay. Don't want to mess with it too much. Let's just say it was checked.
Push. Reset fire and master caution alerts.
Okay, let's reset the master.
Reset.
Reset.
VHF communications radios.
Okay, so the VH currently, let's see if someone came online. No, there is still no one online here in Genoa, so let's just check it.
Set.
We are setting the
VHF navigation radios.
navigation radio.
Set for departure.
The
Transponder.
the transponder.
Standby.
Transponder
CDU
setting
display.
standby. CDU display. play set
Set.
and
one bugs.
Okay, let's do that.
Check. Auto throttle.
Auto throttle should be armed.
Armed. IAS Mach speed selector.
Okay, set V2 plus 15. Our V2 is 135 plus 15, it's 149. So 149 on the Mach. 149. Okay, we have it set.
Set V2 plus 15.
Okay.
ARM, LNAV.
Yeah, we will arm the LNAV and VNAV.
As required. ARM, VNAV. Set. Initial heading.
Initial heading is the runway heading with its 284. It's set.
Set.
The
initial altitude.
Since we don't have any ATC now, so we just set the cruise altitude, which is 1720. We have it set.
Set.
Okay.
Taxi and takeoff briefings.
So we do the taxi and takeoff briefing. Okay, so we are taxiing from here to runway 28. We will probably take this Echo, then Golf. Actually, no, I don't think on the runway here, so I guess we're gonna have to go on the runway. Just turn around here for runway 28. It's strange, but anyway, this is the runway that Simbrief wants us to take, so it's okay. And now let me go to the. Actually, we don't have any seed, so we're just going straight out of the runway for takeoff. We're gonna keep the heading and then just activate the autopilot. So the taxi and takeoff briefings
complete.
Are all set.
Start clearance.
Okay, at this stage we should have gotten the clearance from the ATC. Currently there is no ATC, so we are just
obtain.
Continue with our
fuel
flight
pumps
plan.
left and right.
Okay. So now let's go to our fuel pumps. The fuel pumps are here, and the fuel pumps left and right should be on these one. Left and right.
On.
Okay.
Fuel pump center.
Fuel pump center, we don't need them because we don't have fuel on the center tank for this flight. So we'll leave it as this. So it's okay.
As required. System A electric hydraulic pump.
System A hydraulic pump. The hydraulic pump A as required.
As required.
And
System B electric hydraulic pump. On. Anti-collision lights.
Okay, the anti-collision light should
on.
be on.
Stabilizer trim. Set. Aileron and rudder trims. Check 0 units. Parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
As required. Set chock. Off. Transponder.
Okay, so now the engine start procedures may be done during pushback or towing. So now we have to establish communication with the ground to handling personnel during pushback, set or release the parking brake as required. So now we can start the pushback. Let's look a little bit. Actually, I don't think we need a pushback because we don't have a gate here. So actually, no pushback is required, as you can see. Okay, so let's get back into the cockpit. No pushback is required. We can actually Start the engines now. The transponder should be set now. We can set the transponder now to mode Charlie.
As required.
Set.
Air conditioning packs.
The air conditioning packs on this upper panel should be set to off.
Off. Engine 1 start switch.
Okay, so we can now start engine 1. We start the engine 1 by first turning this switch to ground.
Ground.
Wait until the
engine 1 start lever
reaches 25. You can see outside that the engine is now starting to activate only this engine. See it start running now. Great. So we wait until it reaches 25% and then we can move this up.
Idle. Engine 1.
Okay, we need to stable idle. Let's see. Really like this checklist. Really like it.
Stable idle. Engine 2 start switch.
Okay, now we're doing the same. As you can see outside, we already have one engine running. We're starting the engine 2. Will you please excuse me for just a minute? I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So we're starting engine 1, we're now starting engine 2. So the engine 2 switch goes to ground.
Engine 2 start lever.
To reach 25% until this. You can see this disappears, and then you can start the levers up.
Idle.
And
engine 2.
Engine 2 is now starting. Engine 2 is starting. So both of our engines are now
stable idle.
Started.
System A electric hydraulic pump. On. Engine generators.
Okay, now that the engines are starting, we can turn on the engine generators.
On. Probe heat switches.
The probe heat switches should be turned on. These are the probe heat switches on.
On. Anti-ice switches.
Anti-ice switches, as required. Currently the temperature is not below 10 degrees, so we are not activating
as required.
Currently.
Air conditioning pack switches.
Air conditioning pack switches should be set to
auto. Isolation valve switch.
Isolation valve switch
Auto.
auto.
Pressurization selector. Auto. APU bleed.
The APU bleed should be
Off. APU switch.
The APU switch, we can turn it off. Why it's not? APU switch is off. Okay, I don't know.
Engine start switches.
Engine start switch should run to continuous. So
Continuous. Flaps.
Flaps for takeoff. So we set the flaps for 5 for takeoff. So setting the flaps 5.
Take off.
Okay.
Flight controls.
Flight controls check just to see that everything is moving. Left, right. Everything is okay. Check.
Check.
Okay.
Taxi clearance.
Now we should get a taxi clearance. Currently still no ATC, so let's assume that we are getting taxi
Obtain.
clearance.
Taxi lights.
Okay, now that we got the taxi clearance, we can turn on the taxi lights.
Runway turn off lights.
Runway turn off lights, we can turn them on as required.
As required. Parking brake.
Okay, so now we can release them. Parking brake, actually, you know, something happened that wasn't supposed to happen.
Release.
Okay.
Brakes test. Press and release. V-card speed bugs.
Okay, V-card speed bugs. What are the V-card speed bugs? I don't know exactly what they are.
Set.
Let's assume that they are set.
Taxi lights.
Okay, they're just before takeoff. So right now we should be just taxiing to the runway. I will get the edit out here. So we're just taxiing here to the right. The runway is to our right, and this will just inform people that we are taxiing. Genoa Airport traffic. Alitalia 47, taxiing to holding point runway 28. Okay, so we can now start our taxi to runway 28. Can go through there, I guess. This is the mic. And then we'll turn right. Then we'll turn right. And yeah, let's close this for now. So we're now on the runway, just to see that no one is here. Verify, I don't see any traffic ahead. So I think this is the only access to this runway right now. So I'm going actually, it's a bit strange, but we'll go with it. Runway ahead. Okay. So we'll turn left here to runway 28. I think the sim brief flight plan was not exactly correct. I don't know if it's true that we should have taken off from 28, but in any case, leave it like this. My last flight was a little bit problematic with the reverse thrust after landing. hope that this flight will be better. I think it's also the problem that I didn't move the thrust to idle before doing the reverse thrust. So, okay. So we are now aligning on runway 28. By the way, I didn't get any warning or something that's saying that I am on runway 28. I should have gotten, I think, a warning because my plugin. Okay, anyway. So I installed a plugin. Maybe, okay, maybe it should be in the on the runway. You don't hear it when you are outside. Okay. So we're just about to
on runway 28.
Great, you see that it's working now. So we are on runway 28. The taxi light should be now turned off.
Runway turn off lights
should be turned off. Runway turn off lights should be off.
Off.
Okay.
Fixed landing lights
Landing lights are on. The
position lights.
Let's see. Strobe and steady.
Strobe and steady.
Transponder is set.
Transmit receive. Weather radar.
Radar. Where are you? Weather radar. Don't know exactly where are you. But let's assume that it's okay. Heading bug. We have on the runway heading, which is 284.
Set runway heading.
Both flight directors.
Flight directors.
And that they are on. Both flight directors.
On runway 28. Okay. On runway 28.
Okay, great. So that's it. We are just about ready to take off. We are on the runway. So what we are left to do. Just check this. This is a bit strange. Flight plan. We need to actually just turn around. Huh. Man, this is strange. You know what I think? I think that we will take off to the other side. Actually, I think that this was because no one is here right now. So let me just, because I see that there is a problem here. You can see that the heading was not set correct. I mean, the runway probably we had to take off from the other side. So I would just go on this runway to the other side and then we'll take off the other side, because then it will also be easier for us to get into the route. So nobody's here right now, it's no problem. Of course, if there was ATC, they would probably let us know that this is wrong, but anyway, it's the first time I'm taking off from this runway. By the way, the scenery is very nice. You can see here the port, all the ships, the cargo ships, and also really I've seen several sceneries for airports, and this one is definitely not bad at all. Not bad at all. See here the boat, nice. Okay. This nice, beautiful view. Okay, so just getting to the other side of the runway. And we are just ready for everything for takeoff. So we are just arriving at the other end, and we'll turn around and take off out of runway 10. Okay, so I'm just turning around. Okay. So, turning around. So we are now set on runway. Now it looks much better.
On runway 10.
Okay, so we are on runway 10, and let's set the parking brake and set this to the plan. Excuse me for the map. Okay, so we can now take off. I will fly manually for a bit and then activate the autopilot. The other, for some reason, I don't know why. It's strange, but it got. Okay, we'll check. Anyway, both flight directors on. Okay, we can set thrust now for takeoff. So takeoff thrust set and release parking brake and take off.
$80 knots.
Sure.
V1 rotate.
Rotate.
Positive rate.
You're up. So I'm just now
400.
continuing with our route. I'm just putting on my climb here.
1000.
Okay, at this stage I think we can activate the autopilot. Consider the beautiful Genoa airport scenery. Really beautiful. So we are up in the air. Top of climbs should be very, very close. Beautiful scenery. Yeah, let's put some music on. Now,
Altitude select.
Okay, so we're starting to reach our top of descent. We reached it already. Anyway, I started decreasing the on flight level. Starting descending. Our QNH at Florence Airport. Is 1016.
Set. Engine start switches. Continuous. Landing lights. On. Airspeed.
from the flight deck. We are just commencing our descent. Looks like we'll be landing ahead of schedule and the weather conditions are looking good at our destination. We'll be touching down in less than 30 minutes, so do make your way back to your seats. Thanks for choosing to fly with us today, and it's been a pleasure having you on board.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has switched on the fasten seatbelt sign as we are now at descent. We would ask you to return to your seats and ensure that your seatbelts are securely fastened, your tray tables are in the upright and locked position, your armrests down and window blinds fully open. Any bags that you may have removed during the flight must now be restowed for landing, ensuring the main emergency exits and cabin aisle are kept completely clear of all baggage for landing. There should be no further walking.
Reason I got disconnected. Let's connect again. Let's now set the altimeter.
2,500. 1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Approaching 05.
500. 400. 300. 500.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
100.
Low.
50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
3,000 feet remaining. 2,000 remaining. Caution, on taxiway, on taxiway. 500 remaining.
80 knots.
Thank you for flying Ryanair. Last year, over 90% of our flights arrived on time. We hope you enjoyed yours, and we look forward to welcoming you on board again soon. Ryanair